Hello, welcome to another edition of the Kinesiology and Sport Performance Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Rumen, and I'm here with another great and phenomenal athlete, Maddie. Tell me, quick before we get into the segment of the episode, just a little about yourself and a fun fact to kind of break that ice.
Hello. Hi, my name is Maddie. Thanks for having me here. Pretty excited to have this opportunity to speak for water polo players and everything. I am 23 years old. I play water polo. I played at the Division I level at LaSalle University in Philadelphia, North Philly, for 5 years. I got an extra year because of COVID. Got 2 degrees out of it, which was pretty cool. But I've been playing water polo for now 14 years. I was a swimmer first, like most water polo players. And then we had a fun Friday and it was water polo. And I said, wow, this is way more fun than staring at a black line. So that's why I kept playing, and here I am.
Look at you doing a thing. So that's awesome. I commend you for doing that. So I was just going to ask, so is that a thing for swimmers to do, is like to swim and then jump into water polo?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say that majority of water polo players started swimming first. And then there's a pretty natural transition to jump into polo. I mean, of course, swimming is still like a huge part of what we have to do. It's kind of a condition of being a polo player. We got to swim a whole bunch to be in shape for a game. So
before kind of get into it, just off the books, it could be something quirky, it could be something fun, but just a quote or just a fun fact about yourself. Sorry about that. A fun fact about yourself, just to be like, I'm different, and help break that.
Oh man. Fun fact about me. Well, I really, really, really enjoy video games. I think you can learn a lot from video games. Yeah. I have all my tattoos are Legend of Zelda or Pokemon for now, and I'm going to keep it that way. But yeah, I think that's definitely my fact is I am very inspired by just the heroes in video games, especially Link. He puts his head down, he doesn't say much, but he always gets the job done. And then I think like a huge takeaway is you're going in the right direction when things are getting hard,
I know that.
And the side quests are important. So
that is very unique and interesting, because most athletes would not say that. I mean, you're an outlier in this perspective, because most athletes are not gamers, and you out here gaming, but you take it on a personal level, which I respect.
Thank you.
I get it. So water polo. Okay, you have to be in stupid shape, right? So give me a rundown on, what's a practice usually look like? Something. What's how long it is? Kind of the intensity.
Well, excuse me. I don't mean to interrupt everything, but. Hola, Marg. Hola. I'm sorry. So I'm currently living with the aunt of one of my coaches. That's kind of my living situation here. Hola. Oh, okay, sí, gracias. Hablo con mi amigo.
Pues muy bien. Pues estupendo. Míralo. Buenas tardes.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú qué tal?
Bien. Oh, yeah. Bien.
Me alegro mucho. Yo acabo de llegar.
Estamos grabando.
Sí. Pues
así
trabajad, que soy joven. Sí. Cuando tengáis mi edad, trabajaréis más. Adiós.
Adiós. Okay, well, where were we? I'm sorry.
Oh, to run down, what is usually a practice for you?
So, oh man. Well, here, since I've been, I'm currently in Spain training with some professional teams here, and I've gotten a taste of what practice is like for them. In my experience throughout my career, typically we swim anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 yards hard, for sure. In college, we swam more than that. It's like American water polo is notorious for just being in incredible swimming shape. So like 4,000 yards, too many in a week. I will admit, anyone can attest in college to having a hell week where you just swim your butt off. But so we swim, and then we do some other types of conditioning. For our legs, we wrestle, use a weight ball, lots of just treading up, getting your shoulders out of the water, shooting while you're tired, things of that nature. So yeah, people don't realize that it's not just swimming, like you're really, really wrestling. And in the women's game, especially because we have these suits, like the men wear the Speedos, but we wear our zipped up tight suits. But, you got to get out of grabs and really wrestle with each other the whole game.
So it really is a physical sport.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. I give you commendos for that. Get into the next part, just the next segment is, do you have a favorite quote or a mantra that if you're in your routine, you're about to get set, about to get your workout in, is there anything that you'd say to yourself just to get that positive affirmation in?
I guess I don't really have a quote per se. I don't want to keep bringing it back to video games, so I'll leave that be. But
Ooh, that's unique. That's amazing.
Well, there's just like a quote from Legend of Zelda. It's like, you've been met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And I think about that because, pre-game, like you're super nervous and like there might be fear and everything in your heart, but you gotta just push through. And then, during practices and everything, I think that's where I really practice my mentality. Like I try very hard to give myself certain kinds of affirmations, especially like while we're swimming or we're warming up to shoot and stuff. Like I tell myself, I am fast. I am a shooter. I make myself believe those things, even if I'm not having a day like that. So.
Thank you. That kind of gets into our next, and this is kind of our last kind of chunk, but this is the meat of the podcast, is the inward and outward arena of a sport, right? So where I get this, I got to give credit where credit's due, but Howard Thurman, who was Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor, he talked about, the outward, inward parts of a human being in relation to, what they do. And so in this segment, though, in this perspective, inward is like, the things that people don't see that you're doing, right? The stress, the pressure, the mentality, the things that you have to go through. So like, and the outward obviously is the physical performance that people all get to see, right? The iceberg, right? And they get to enjoy that last little chunk of, the piece of the pie. So if there is a couple of the inwards that people don't see that you like to bring out, whether that be emotional, spiritual, whatever that is for you, what are those? What's that inward, an example of the inward and maybe outward, a process that you go through?
That's pretty interesting to think about, especially because, like, for me, I'm trying to build my social media presence and just kind of make people aware of what goes into being not only a water polo player, but I guess an athlete at the level I'm aspiring to be at. So of course, like, yeah, I'm in the gym and I'm training in the pool, and it seems like sometimes doing so much in one day, where finding time to rest and like rest adequately, not just physically, but kind of the mental, is really difficult to do. It really seems sometimes like it's hard to detach from the sport. It's like what we live and what we breathe. And especially some of the women out here that I've met so far, like that's just the truth behind it. Is like, if you're doing this, this is what you are.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that. I struggle with that for sure, because like I do absolutely love water polo. It's a huge passion, but I also love a lot of other things.
Right.
So it's an identity struggle a little bit.
I feel that. Kind of like, what, even though water polo is the number one thing in your life, you're essentially saying like, there's other things that you enjoy and you find it hard to balance. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think in college, especially, like I had been captain of my team, and I was learning so much in my communications masters, and like I'm really just a believer of adequate diversity, more than adequate diversity in organizational settings. And water polo is like very like underrepresented. Like water polo as a sport itself in the female demographic, like nobody really pays as much attention as I wish people did. And then of course, like there just isn't good representation of people other than white women from California, if we're staying in that realm. So I think in college, like I tried to advocate in a space that it wasn't so welcome. Like kind of, yeah. it didn't feel so welcome. So like at that point I kind of realized that there's a time and there shouldn't be for these specific issues, in my opinion, but there is a time and a place and an appropriate way to deliver certain things. And it's part of the reason I'm chasing what I'm chasing, because I want a platform to speak what's on my mind without being benched because of it. So
you were just out here being a boss, what you're saying.
Trying my best, honestly, and for other people to be able to just get here and have these opportunities too.
I mean, the fact that you are a color and you're breaking that barrier, doing it at a high level, and adding finesse to it. So I mean,
thank you
for doing that. That's amazing. If there is any advice that you give, whether it's a younger athlete, may not be the water polo, but like a young athlete that's trying to get it, that's trying to grind, trying to figure out, if this is for me, or they just step to that weight room and just get at, their insecure body image. If there's something that you could give us some advice, that'd be awesome.
I think, oh man, this goes across the board for sure, but I really want to talk to just like the women and the underrepresented or the underdogs. Go Birds. Like the people who feel like they are not adequate enough to be in the space that they're in. Like genuinely, I think that you cannot set limits on yourself. Like, do not internalize the limits that others have provided for you, because they're not true. Like, there is no way in hell, if you keep trying, that you're going to be in the same place. So just keep pushing, right?
Yeah, no, I know that's right. Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Maddie, again for joining the podcast. I know it's super short and slim, but I appreciate it. And I thank you always for your time. Again, there, folks, here is Maddie, and thank you for what you do.
Thanks so much.